drink her hot wash.
Hot water.
We were in hot water.
We're
We're gonna talk about 59.
Okay, I'll get one over here.
Okay.
Let's wait for Renee, she's got all the information.
So far so good on our flood situation. I realize we haven't had a big deal, but there's nothing standing there.
Yeah, I went by there, and the only places that were standing on that last drain were tire tracks, and that was it. And everything else seemed to push out of there pretty decently. I can't remember who mentioned it to me. Somebody in Lytton was concerned about, they wanted those trees in, they didn't think one of those last couple big trees by the house would cause anything. I still think they need to be gone, especially that one real close to the road.
One for certain.
Yeah.
I had Mrs. Schultz, her son, had expressed concern about taking it. Said, in my opinion, the one has to go.
Yeah, I think that was probably a majority of the problem, where that big root ball came out.
Colin?
I know you sent me that. but
Come
that's
on,
not what
come
I'm
up
getting.
with-
Tough campaign, Jack.
I'll know later tonight.
That's what we got.
This letter is in concerns of that call that I made last week to you. We did find a problem. And actually, it was a chunk of field tile that was stuck at the outlet of another tile coming out of his house in that vicinity. And that caused a whole bunch of backup.
Colin, we were, I guess we didn't finish reading it first, but we received a letter in the mail of an individual expressing concern about damage because of a backup in this drainage district, and has the expectations of us doing some repair and do you know how long this has been going on and why
My
we've not heard anything?
My very first call was from Ray Musselman. It would have been 2 weeks ago Monday. He had said there was a landowner or a homeowner getting water in his basement. And this would have been close to a week after we had that rain. And he said, we got a problem over here, so I went over there. Ivan was actually with me because we were looking at that lower part of D 59, and decided to call Brian Pinkinky and dig up the tile, relieve the pressure, see if that was it. We did have a hole in the tile in the back of this guy's, further down the block in the backyard of his, which had never been reported. That had been there for years, he said. Further upstream, I don't know if you're familiar with where those tennis courts are in Early. Is the house just to the west of the tennis courts. So there's a lot of standing water, a lot of soft spots in his yard, and the neighbor to the south that's now abandoned. There's sort of a natural surface water stream to the east of those tennis courts. We dug a line south of the tennis courts and came across nothing. We then went to the north of the tennis courts and came across nothing. And then Brian got a little bit further to the west, and all sorts of water pressure started coming out of the banks. It was holding a lot of water, groundwater, in that vicinity. We decided to let the water go down for a couple days before we continued to get in. We had to do an emergency locate, because there's a gas line that runs right on top of the tile all the way through that stretch. Brian then went back. This would have been, I want to say last Tuesday, Wednesday, and we dug where that hole was, and the tile was hardly running. We went up 100 feet, dug, hardly running, finally went up that last 100 feet and hit the blockage. And there was a pop bottle, there was styrofoam, there was all sorts of stuff in there. A chunk of field tile started the whole thing. It just got hung up on the outlet of a pipe coming from his vicinity somewhere. I don't know if it's a drain pipe or if there was some old field tile in there at some point in time to drain that low area between the two houses or something. That started the problem. A lot of dirt, a lot of mud, no real tree roots to be seen in there. A good sized chunk of tile. Once we got that, everything drained. Before we got everything drained, the actual water was backing up across the road and moving down one block to the east, coming out of an intake and going down the gutters and flowing past this block.
There's that much drop.
Mhm. Once we got that blockage taken care of, everything dropped. It wasn't 30 seconds later, I went up to the manhole and it was empty. So it was all right there by the tennis courts.
What caused the breakage at that point?
Just that tile, that little chunk of tile in there was backing it up
Yeah, but
far
what
enough.
caused the breakage, the piece to get in there?
Nobody knows. It's a clay field tile, and we're all in concrete. I don't know where it would have came from. Could have been pushed down the line from farm field to the north. Because it runs quite a way north of town. My guess it would came in from there at some point in time, this clay field tile. And got lodged just perfect and backed up that whole stretch. But as far as the water being in the basement, I guess that's your guys' call.
Attorney responded, what do you?
Well, a couple things jump out at me. Number one is you're gonna need to contact your carrier. I doubt if you've got coverage for this, but I don't wanna be making any commitment without the carrier telling us whether or not there's coverage. Okay?
I'm not aware that we would have,
I'm not aware that you have any insurance on any drainage facilities.
No, it'd just be under our general liability.
But that'd be county, that wouldn't be drainage facility. I mean,
Different assessment. All I'm suggesting is we gotta have somebody say, no, there ain't no coverage.
okay, sure.
That's all I need.
Okay.
Because if there's a coverage issue, always in the policy of insurance is the issue of cooperation. And that means until we resolve it, sure, the carrier. So I doubt if there's insurance, Jim, but I just don't want to get the county or the supervisors as trustees crossways with.
I'll get something written from Copeland's saying
Well, I
whether you
can't.
do or do not, I can.
Yeah. As it relates to the larger issue, that is, I think the watchman should go up there and take a look at it. Maybe he has, I don't know. You're the watchman, okay. And what have you determined?
That clay tile from somewhere up the line caused this problem.
And the clay tile is a county tile?
There's no way of determining if it's county, the county line that's in there right now is concrete.
It's a 16-inch.
Okay.
It goes right, comes up to the football field and kind of goes through the center of town.
The actual district tile that we were working on is in good shape. If there's a private clay tile that comes into that, put in God knows when.
I guess that's my issue that I'm clearly following. Damage is caused by a backup on a private, or at least a non-county tile.